Yeah, I'm recording now. Cool.
Welcome back to another episode of the Replayed interview series. Today, we're delving into the behind the scenes of YouTube, which is appropriate because we have Tom Sharman here. Hey Tom, how you doing?
Sharman.
Sharman. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Fine.
Oh, hold on, there's a plane over me. Dude, I live like 30 seconds from a bloody airport. There's planes passing over like every 10 seconds. It's bloody annoying.
Yeah, I've got that one. I've got an iPhone over there, so hopefully it works. We'll see.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
Do you want to do a clap so we can?
Yeah, sure. Clap on it.
Boom. That's good.
It's fine. So you called me this morning. You were like, "Hey Ali, what the hell did I sign up for?" Do you always do you always end up on like weird projects that you always say yes to?
Yeah, quite a lot. I think it was more just I always seem to find myself often the glue between a lot of different elements and bringing a lot of different kind of people together and whatnot.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know you, what are you most known for? What do you do every day essentially?
So my job's a real weird one, right? So people know me as the guy on Twitter who shit posts, who is always on the timeline, who lost his blue tick, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people don't know what I do for a job, and my job's really complex. So I'm self-employed. I run a couple of businesses, Combat Gaming, which is a gaming collective and club. We bring in celebrities, athletes, content creators, pros, and fans together to kind of celebrate gaming, whether that's casually, whether that's professionally. On the side, as I've recently launched Waves, New Waves Who This.
Hell yeah.
And essentially it's how do we, myself and my co-founder Sam, who has worked for years with most of the big UK facing creators, essentially be the bridge between the big creators at the top and the small creators that are the next wave of digital talent.
Can you name drop some big names?
Well, myself and Sam in particular have worked with many big creators, whether that be people like Sidemen, Calfreezy. One of the projects that we're working on Waves is Clash of Creators.
Yeah.
So it's a YouTube charity football match. We've got Morgs playing, we've got Rota Shaw, we've got Jackmate, we've got I'm Alex.
Nice, I'll put that in the description.
There you go. But it's a really great project for us because it's a really great way to not only connect the big talent at the top that pull in millions of viewers, but also to use that as a platform to promote the small guys, the people that are on 1K, 600 subs, that might be pulling in 50 viewers a video, but actually with the right sort of direction and opportunity could become the next big thing.
Most people would say going into YouTube right now is pretty difficult and it's very saturated. You probably would disagree, right?
It's always been difficult to grow on YouTube. There is no secret formula. There is no do this and this will happen. You look at people like the Sidemen, people like Calfreezy, people I've just mentioned. They of course they were at the right place, right time, but there's a right place, right time for everyone. A really great example of a creator in 2020 was Airac. He went from 0 to 1 million in a year. But you can't then say that YouTube, it's too late to get into YouTube when someone's actively done it and has made it their full-time job and built a team around it and an audience, and it's their life now. That being said, I have this conversation on multiple times a day basis, is if I was a creator, I would probably spend most of my time on TikTok. I would really start to build, and YouTube is very, very hard when you don't have a platform. A client that I used to work with was Katie Price, for example. We launched her YouTube channel. Her having the existing 5 million audience already made it extremely easy to move that audience across and convert 250,000 fans within one video. For whoever it might be, that's impossible to do that unless you get extreme amounts of luck. I would use TikTok to build a core audience, maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe 1 million fans or followers, and then try and move those across onto other platforms. We've seen it very, very successfully move TikTok to Instagram. If you look at Addison Rae, for example, she's on about 30 million Instagram followers, and she's on about 90 million maybe not even that, TikTok followers.
So in comparison to like traditional media, how do you think YouTube compares to it? Because you've had a lot of experience between both worlds. What's your take on that?
Firstly, the ad world is traditionally older. There's a lot more rules in place. There's like set ways to do stuff, and you,
Yeah.
for the most part, follow those. You want to win the awards. You want to pitch to the biggest brand. What YouTube has done so well is because it's the people at the top of influencer marketing space are the influencers. What you've seen is there's a lot of sort of negative connotations around influencers, around the influencer space, and the brand deals that go on behind it, whether it's dodgy agents, whether it's dodgy contracts, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas in the traditional world, that tends to be a little bit more polished. And if it isn't, then you've got like law suits in place that will kind of eradicate that. But I imagine, and I'm not old enough to know this, but I imagine this is just, I imagine it was what TV was like years ago. I imagine it was what newspapers were like. I imagine all these kind of new forms of media probably had that sort of similar teething problems. The influencer marketing space is just so young and so naive in its own right that it doesn't know kind of, it needs to work itself out. It needs to mature.
We've spoken about VR before. Would you say YouTube and VR is something that is sort of still not very open to a lot of people? So it's sort of like how the internet came around and it was just not accessible to everyone. Would you say VR and YouTube is going to become a lot more common in the future and it's sort of the new content?
That's really difficult to answer because it relies on multiple things. It relies on YouTube, the platform, continuing to build tools, technology, and put marketing basically to push VR and AR, whatever it might be, into the platform. To be honest, they've taken a bit of a back step.
Why is that, do you think?
Probably just because they haven't seen the growth that they expect, and they know it's a chicken and egg, right? So you've got YouTube not doing enough that front. We're still years away from mainstream VR being a thing. You look at Facebook Oculus 2, low price point, really easy to use. I've got one myself, they're brilliant. But like, you really need to do some serious marketing to get that into every household, and you need the developers to be making the games relevant for you anyway.
With YouTube not changing so much throughout the years and TikTok coming in and totally changing the landscape for every social media, do you think YouTube is threatened by TikTok? Do you think it could possibly shut down?
Myself, I'll scroll TikTok when I've got a few minutes, when I'm bored. When I might be on a call, I might be checking emails, I might be trying not to do work. Versus YouTube is like, after this call, I'm going to go sit down, I'm going to have some dinner, I'm going to watch some YouTube. It's just a different habit.
True.
If YouTube can get into that more casual market again that they probably once were, that's where they can really claw back.
Interesting. Do you think perhaps because YouTube hasn't really changed their user experience in so long, that might be the issue?
YouTube is owned by Google.
Yeah.
Google are notoriously slow, and not just slow, but really thoughtful in the decisions they make, the design decisions that they make. The back end of YouTube is an absolute mess, and creators hate it. But on a front end perspective, where their billions sit in YouTube audience, like the decisions for them to move a button to a different place or to like change how something looks, they're like key business decisions that have to be thought out, and how it would impact, and we test it. I feel like what we forget as well is that me and you are very much ingrained in sort of UK YouTube. Obviously that crosses over quite a lot with US, but there's so many territories that YouTube serves that pull billions of views. Like, I don't know if you've looked into Russian YouTube at all. It's insane. It's insane that Russian YouTube can kind of have that dominance.
So I know you've mentioned there are days where you sort of work on and off, and then there are other weeks where you work 7 days straight, 24/7, just grinding. So do you think that sort of workflow is the way our future is going, and our generation is going to have to work this way?
Massively, yeah. When I was at Ogilvy, we done a report on the future of work, actually, and looked at not just the future of work, but the future of the economy. So like the increase in freelancers in our society is insanely higher than what it was 10 years ago. And in 10 years' time, that would be insanely higher than what it is right now. I have in the past done a 9 to 5, and for a lot of people that works totally fine. What I'm interested in, and I think what a lot of people, particularly young people coming up, that are also idolizing creators and YouTubers and whatnot, we're always looking for that multiple revenue stream kind of income per month. That's probably a big misconception of how parents these days teach their kids, because they're all in 9 to 5 typically. What I would say to that kind of aspiring sort of work generation is that's really not the case. And actually, if you can build a diverse sort of strategy to have kind of income coming in, then that's probably the safest way. If one bit of work goes, cool, you might be out on your ass a little bit and might need to stop ordering as many takeaways, or you know what I mean, stop doing whatever, cancel the PlayStation subscription, whatever that might be, but you can recover from that. Whereas if you've got a 9 to 5 and it just goes, like, gone.
Finally, on a more serious note, your verification. Oh my god, what were you thinking?
It was a spur of the moment. It was me trying to be funny, me being overly confident and cocky, and it went tits up. To give context to everyone that doesn't understand, is when Trump got suspended from Twitter, I then went and pretended to be Trump using my old verification tick and changed my profile picture and name, and then said, what did I say? It was like, we'll pop it up on screen now, I can't even remember. And yeah, essentially it was within a minute I got it removed. To be honest, I thought I'd be more like annoyed and upset by the fact that the opportunities that it doesn't bring you anymore, which I was very aware of that it did do. To be honest, you kind of just realize that it's like social media is a bit of fun. Far more people take it far too seriously, and it doesn't need to be that. And I probably was taking it far too seriously.
All right, thank you so much, Tom. This was fucking incredible. Unfortunately, this is over Zoom. Maybe we can do it in person sometime.
Absolutely.
Any final words to the audience, the people, the youngest?
Big up Ali and the Replay boys. I love what you guys are doing. So keep up the great work. Keep winning. And I'm gonna go have some food.
Thank you so much, Tom. See ya. Bye bye.
In a bit.